everybody, it is your girl Maya here, and I'm back with another video. This time we are going to talk about the beginning stages of Sisterlocks, what that looks like, things that you can expect, the tools that you're going to need, how my locks looked in the beginning, and just some things that I think you should look out for when it comes to finding the right loctician and maintaining your hair. So if you're interested in any of those topics, make sure that you stay tuned for this video. First of all, thanks so much for coming back. Y'all, I'm getting better. Two Fridays in a row. Okay, we got videos up. So we get in there. But if you haven't already, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to this channel so that you can see all of my Sisterlock content. We also talk about books, which I have a good review coming up for you guys about. I'm currently reading the book The Other Black Girl. I wish I could roll my eyes more at that book, y'all. We'll talk about that in the review. Okay, so we talk about Sisterlocks, we talk about books, and we talk about motherhood. That's what this channel is all about. So please make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and stay tuned and watch all of our content here so that we can become a family and either Sisterlock sisters or microlock sisters, whatever it is. I'm glad to have you in the family. This is a question that I get often in my comments, or even sometimes like I've gotten a few messages on Instagram about people asking me about the beginning stages of my Sisterlocks. So if you want to see what my locks look like previously, I'm gonna link some videos of my baby locks in the description box in this video so that you can have an idea of what that looked like. But I will say that people's locks in the beginning will look different depending on how they choose to start their micro lock or Sisterlock journey. Now, to me, y'all don't come for me in the comments, okay? To me, Sisterlocks are a form of interlocking, and also they are a form of micro locks, because micro would just be implying that your locks are of a smaller size than traditional locks are, which they are. I know people, Sisterlock locticians don't like to interchange those. Sisterlocks are in one category, microlocks are in another, but to me, very similar. The thing that most people feel is different when it comes to microlocks is that it can be established in different ways. So you can establish microlocks with micro twists, you can do braid locks, you can do comb coils, you can do a lot of different methods to start your locks. There also isn't always a very specific way of starting your locks. Sometimes it's just parting, versus with Sisterlock, there is a very specific grid based on the density of your hair, how many locks will be installed and things like that. Now, I have seen, for me on Instagram, Pinterest, even here on YouTube, there are a lot of locticians that specialize in micro locks that do use a grid, that do have those things. So I do think there are some similarities, but your locks in the beginning stages will look pretty much very similar. No matter what kind you start, you're gonna go through that initial budding phase. Beginning stage that we talk about is just the starter lock phase. So it's the excited phase that we are so excited that we are making this journey. I'm gonna put a little picture over here so that you can see what my locks look like at the starter lock phase. Now, y'all keep in mind, if y'all watched my previous video about my lock journey and realize, y'all know my installation, which it was tough, okay? I started out with about 14 inches of hair that was cut. So my locks were significantly shorter than what I was anticipating them to originally be. But that's okay, because look where we are now, okay? A little bit of time and patience and we have growth. But that initial starter lock phase, you may see some spaciness in your hair because that grid is gonna be usually really showing at the root, so you have to learn to be comfortable with that. You might want to do some looser styles. I see a lot of people start out with twist styles or braid styles and things like that in those initial starter lock months, which if you have a good loctician that is not being too tight or pulling your locks too much and causing tension, will be a great way to style your hair. For me, y'all, I just spray my hair with some water and we let it go. I did some roller sets, I did some bent two knot sets, I did things that let my hair be as it was, but still kind of gave me a little bit of fullness because I felt like it was a little spacey for me, and I just didn't like I liked full hair because I was a natural girly before my Sisterlocks. In between my traditional locks, I had loose hair, and then I got Sisterlocks again, so there's a lot going on there. But in those stages, like I said, you can do those, you know, styles. Just make sure that you're doing low manipulation, letting your hair be, making sure braiding and banding during that time is essential, because you can have reverting happening. You can also have the locks kind of being slipping or causing bulging down the lock just because your hair is not fully locked yet. This is usually like in the first 6 months of you having micro locks or Sisterlocks. The next stage that you go through would be budding. So that's when you start to get some little buds along your lock. Now, I'm not talking about big bulges in your lock, which will need to be repaired with your loctician, whether you have Sisterlocks or micro locks. You don't want to see that. You need a nice uniform lock as such. But there are like little buds that come either at the ends of your locks or in little spots, but it shouldn't be huge bulges. But that's when you know that your hair is initially starting to lock. That usually happens in the 6 to 12 month time. Some people it happens a little later, but that means that your lock journey is progressing. You can maybe start to experiment with not braiding and banding if you want to. Make sure, of course, y'all don't come for me, okay? Ask your locticians. Don't start doing stuff because I say it. That's just what I did. I started to experiment after the 1 year mark, and I went from there. But that's one thing that you can do. The frizziness is still gonna be there, but it may start to taper down as you start to have some budding happen. But it's okay. You know, we're here for our natural hair. We want to see it in its natural state, and so that's the time that we will see that. I will show you some pictures, and I think I have a video about in that time frame. I'll link that too in the description box so you can see what that looks like as well, because I do think it's really important to kind of get visuals on what your hair may look like in different phases and to be okay with it, you know. After about a year, you go through the teenage lock stage, which is you starting to feel yourself. You might have a little bit more hang time. You might be more confident in styling your hair and feel more like you got this, you know. And so your hair's not fully locked, so you might still have some slippage that happens. Some people are still braiding and banding during that time because, like I said, it's past the year mark. But for me, I stopped braiding and banding after a year because I feel like my hair locked pretty quickly, but I also have had hair that's had locks previously, so I feel like my hair is just like, oh, we ain't got to do nothing. I like it. And the interlocking for me really worked. So that's one thing that you can look forward to. Then after you go to the teenage lock phase, you start to get mature locks, which is like 2 years and up, going into that phase. And then somewhere after that, you'll get the final form of what your locks are gonna look like. So I'm anticipating, for me, that my hair is somewhere in between teenage and I think I'm somewhere between teenage and mature, because I still have a lot of curly ends. Now, I do see some people that have Sisterlocks and their hair just stays like this. They just have looser, curlier ends, and eventually they will lock up. But after like 8 years or longer terms, we'll see that the curly ends are gone. I honestly don't mind the curly ends, and I also don't mind not having curly ends. I am completely indifferent. I do love my hair. But I know I have talked plenty of times on here about coloring my hair and things like that, and I just don't want to mess with the consistency and the strength of my locks. But eventually these curlies are going to be gone because they're colored hair, and eventually they're going to come off. So and now I'm seeing at some of the places where my hair was much shorter, where my locks were teeny tiny, some of the color ends have come off, you know, because they were just the little ends of the fuzz, like these little bald ends that, you know, they say don't cut. You do not cut those as you start getting them, because that's where the lock starts up and then it kind of grows. I'm trying to find a good one to show you all. This is probably a good one. Yeah, I'll see. Come on. So, like this little end here that has a ball. This eventually will probably fall off. You don't want to cut this though, because this is locked hair. It allows the rest of the lock to lock, and I just let it be and do its thing. But eventually those keep happening at the ends of your lock, and as that happens, my color ends, as you can see, are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so we'll see. I kind of would like to just see what my natural hair is going to look like without this color. I don't want to cut it. I'm not quite ready for that. I like the length. I like where I'm at. So we'll see. But I did want to, of course, share this video with you guys because a lot of people want to know what the stages are of Sisterlocks or microlocks, what you can expect. And I do think that I had a good documentation of my hair through those processes to kind of show you all, just in case if you're thinking about embarking on this journey for yourself or someone that you know. Now, my opinion on all of those stages, or just even about my locks in general right now and micro locks, each stage, especially at each stage, I should say, in the beginning, it can be a little overwhelming because you don't really know what to expect. Your locks do not look like the next person's locks, and they won't. We have an idea of what we would love our hair to look like, but everybody's hair texture, density, all of those things are different, and so we have to be realistic with our expectations and learn to love our hair in each state. So when my hair was in its starter lock phase, I rocked it. I loved it. I was so excited. You know, I wore the loose ends. I wore, you know, braid outs. I wore curls and bantu knots. I did all that and I loved it. And as it grew and, you know, my locks started to settle, I just continued to allow my hair to be. Honestly, with microlocks and Sisterlocks, there's no better luxury than being able to pretty much wake up and go. And in each stage of my hair journey, my lock journey, I felt like I was able to do that. So if those are reasons that you're looking for, well, I should say, if you need reasons to lock your hair, I think those are some pretty good ones, you know? Like with me having a 2-year-old, getting up and going, spraying my hair, being able to get up and go, oh, I want to look cute today, so I'm going to put some rollers in the night before with some water and I'm good. Come on, like who doesn't want that? I know I want it. I love it. So happy locking if you're going to be locking in the future. I want to know, side note, y'all like to put in the comments when you guys are starting your lock journey or where you are in your lock journey. Make sure you let me know in the comments in this one because I want to know, are you guys new beginning girlies or possibly thinking about being a locked girly, or are you a long time girly? I'm at the 2.5 year mark. I got my locks were established in June 2020. So, oh wait, 20, 21, 23. Girl, y'all, I'm 3 years locked. Y'all, look, time flies. Okay, I'm 3 years locked. Once again, I am 3 years locked. So. Don't get it twisted, but yeah, so let's talk in the comments. I will see you all there, and thanks again. This is just a little update video so you guys can know what to expect in those beginning stages of locks. Make sure, of course, that you subscribe, like this video, and I will see you all in the next one. The next one, we're going to talk about a book. We're going to talk about a book review. I'm so excited. It'll be my first one. So if you haven't watched any, this will be something new on my channel. So please make sure you go out, like and support it when you guys see it coming up. I really appreciate it. I love you guys so much.